All right, today we're going to talk about how to be a successful subcontractor. Now, me being a general contractor, you probably don't want me to tell you how to do it, but here's what I want from my subcontractors. I want them to be organized and systemized. I don't want them to be overburdened and overworked and not be able to man my job. I want them to be able to improve and continually improve. I want them to be super technology. I want them to run their business like a pro. And I don't want to get into arguments over the contract and change orders and when I get paid. I'm assuming they're well funded, meaning you can handle 3 or 4 months of payables, because that's what it takes. You're not going to get paid every week. So what do I need to do to become a better subcontractor? So if you ask me as a general, I want subcontractors I like and I trust, and they do a great job. I want subcontractors who can come to a meeting with me as the general and help me present my team, and they help me win the job. I want subcontractors that work well with my superintendents and project managers. There's no argument. There's no World War III out there every day, all this conflict. I hate conflict out on the job, screaming matches between subcontractors and myself as a general contractor. I really want good people, good subcontractors that are pros. I want them that are pros. So think about how you add value. Do you add value? Are you bringing value to the team? Or are you just bidding minimum per plans and specs? If you bid the minimum and provide the minimum, you're not on my A list. I want people to go the extra mile. So it reminds me, I was just out on a job a couple of years ago as a construction manager. I hired a large general contractor who had a great A team of subcontractors. So we were having an electrical and air conditioning problem. The fire alarms kept triggering the air conditioning to turn off. The fire alarms inside the ducts. Kind of sophisticated project, very VAV system air conditioning, high end. And a large office. It was probably 8,000 or 10,000 feet on a big 100,000 foot project. And the electrician kept blaming it on somebody else. Finally, I called the owner, who's a friend of mine, and I said, John, what can you do about this? And he's got 300 employees. He said, let me take care of it. He called their best electrical contractor, who came out immediately. He solved the thing in literally 10 minutes. He knew exactly what was wrong. He called the power company. He got the grid, looking at the grid with some overheated, and it was all fixed. I want that guy on my next job, not the lowballer guy who couldn't figure it out and was too cheap to dig in and get on his ladder and figure it out. So I want a pro. I want somebody who bids the right job type. Subcontractors who specialize in markets, office buildings, self-storage facilities, laboratories, medical suites. I want pros who specialize in what they do best. I don't want a generalist who bids, my old joke, patio covers, dog houses, and room additions, and hospitals. That doesn't work. I want pros who know what they're good at and they only do what they're good at. And I want them to be proactive and communicate. I want them to be in touch with my superintendent out in the field on an ongoing basis. I don't want them to show up and, whine and complain. Well, it's their fault. They didn't really go out there proactively and make sure the job was ready. So I want them to have the capacity to do all the work that they have out there in their bids and their contracts. So that's what I want you to think about. How do you manage your business? So the first thing we've got to do is we've got to make sure we have a pre-job startup meeting. We've got to make sure we're all on the same page before we just go build. The second thing, we've got to make sure you order all the materials in a timely manner, which starts with your submittals and approvals. You've got to be proactive. I put right in my contracts, subcontracts, that you will have them all submitted within the first 2 weeks of job start. Because I don't want to have a delay because something's late, it's shipping from China or wherever it's coming from, Europe, ceramic tile, Italy. I want to know it's on the way and I want to know it's approved. Don't tell me you did it and you haven't. I've gotten so many jobs delayed because the subcontractor didn't do any follow-up. They just lied to me, basically. So to make sure we're clear on the scope of work, I want to make sure that we understand the change orders, the markup, the terms. We can only charge what's in the general contract, not what the subcontractor wants. We can only charge what's in the general contract, general conditions. We're going to meet the schedule. You're aware of the schedule. You've reviewed the schedule. and you're on top of it. And you're going to manage the job with a professional foreman or supervisor who basically can communicate, commit the company, probably speaks English, and can walk into an owner meeting with a customer and help us figure out some problems. And you're going to meet the shop drawings and submittal requirement, as I mentioned. We're going to bill on time, and we're going to understand that there's going to be a retention, 10% withheld, and you're not going to get it till the whole job's done or whatever the contract says. And you're not going to whine if you don't get it until everybody gets it, because I'm a general. I pay you as fast as I can based on when I get paid. Now, you can argue that all day, but that's kind of the standard practice in the industry. Get over it. You need to be well funded to go out and do $5–10 million worth of work every year. I've got an earthwork contractor who's the first contractor, subcontractor into the job, and he does about $40 million a year. He gets 10% held. So he's always got $4 million in retention in receivables. He's got to be well funded to run his company. You can't rely on weekly cash flow. What else do I need to make sure that happens? Change order management, submittals, supervision. We talked about that. We have to have great supervision. And of course, we've got to meet the schedule. So I got to know the schedule, and I got to attend the mandatory meetings. So I have a weekly subcontractor meeting. As a general contractor, I request my subcontractors, if they're on the job, to be at that meeting. I've got to be willing to submit my people. I've got to have them proactively communicate. And I got to make sure the closeout, they send me all their closeout documents, their warranty book, their maintenance requirements, all that on a timely basis. But the main thing I want is more than the minimum per plans and specs. I know that's all you get paid for, but it's all the intrinsic things, the value add things, how we meet, how we talk, how we communicate, how you're proactive. That's what's important to me. So think about your role as a subcontractor helping your customer do a good job. My motto was always help my customer meet their goals. Your motto as a subcontractor is to help your customer meet their goals so you can meet yours. All right, thank you very much. I have a website called contractorprojectsuccess.com, and I've got the 10 commandments of project success and some other workbook pages that you'll be able to download if you go on there and click the button. And you're going to also get the first chapter of my book called Turn Your Construction Business into a Profit-Making Machine. Anyway, hope those all help. Hope you become very successful as a result of investing your time today. Thank you.